And now, with big pleasure, I introduce you to the scientific part of the festival. He's a real genius. And at the festival, usually, we always have an area where he can explore on Breatharian lifestyle in a more scientific way. His name is Ivan from Croatia, and I pass to him the mic now. Hi, Ivan.
Hello, hi Naida, and hello to everyone, all the participants. I hope you are doing well.
We are doing very well, and I can see we have similar backgrounds. We have trees nourishing us, sending messages.
Yeah, we are developing. Yeah.
Yeah, going.
Yes, we are developing in Croatia a new holistic center, one of the first in Croatia. So we hope some of you will visit us one day. Yeah, I'll send you a link on time.
Yes, yeah. Please send the link.
It's a beautiful site. Not yet, not yet. We have not developed the website, but the center has accommodation for about 100 people. And it's on a beautiful island in the greenery, close to the sea. And we believe that the environment is rising and it's really back to nature. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure that we will visit you as soon as the place will be ready.
Yes.
And
yes.
Once the website is finished, we can post it on our website, www.breatharianworld.com, so that people can reach out to you.
Thank you very much.
I love Croatia. I love Croatia. I was there with Mirit a few years ago, and it's such a special land.
I hope we'll see more of you and Mirit and Nicholas and all the pranic people. Yeah.
A family reunion. Yes.
Yes, a big family. Yeah. Which is getting bigger and bigger, as I can see. Yeah.
Oh yes, yes. Yeah. The pranic virus is spreading wildly, luckily.
Faster, hopefully faster than COVID virus. Right. Thank you.
I know that even if you explored a lot with pranic nourishment, and through processes and through your life journey, today you have a specific topic to share with us. And now I pass you the mic and you have this 30 minutes time to go for your transmission. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Naida. Thank you, Naida. Hello, everyone. Yes, as Naida said, I'm a scientist, a nuclear physicist. Retired a few years ago, but in spite of retirement from the university, I continue my research in a bit different area. I am now interested in bridging science and spirituality, connecting physics and spirituality. Yeah, I believe that science and spirituality have a lot in common. They just use different language. But up till to recent days, scientists were arrogant in a way, and they thought the world is material. This was the only option that they allow, that the world is material and that's it. Now we know that world is not really material, because if you ask honest scientists what is the matter, they will say, if they are honest, they will say that they don't know. Hopefully I'm not too fast now. Is it slow enough? So we don't know what matter is. According to quantum physics, matter does not exist. all what we call matter, protons, electrons, are not specks in the space. They are vibrations. They are so-called, matter is vibration. This is what we know. We call them now quantum field. No matter. There is no matter. It's all quantum field. And quantum field equals to vibrations. This is what all books, Veda books, and all books were telling us for thousands of years. So as you can see, science and spirituality are converging. In my previous talks, I did talk more about this. So I'm not going to repeat what I said last year. I'm going to talk today more about scientific view of pranic living, which means actually I will talk about physiology or medical aspects of keto diet, or in other way, medical aspects of fasting. Why is fasting so good for us, for our health? So to start with, I will say a few words about the most critical pandemia that is running in the background, which is not COVID pandemia. It's diabetes and coronary disease. These days, everybody is talking about coronavirus and pandemia caused by corona, which is in a way shame, because in a background has been going on for nearly 100 years, something that is much, much worse and that kills much more people than corona, and this is diabetes. For those who are not aware, but I believe most of you know that almost 1/3 of population of the world is affected by either diabetes or coronary disease. It is estimated, okay, I should slow down. It is estimated that about 400 million people is diagnosed with diabetes in the Western world, or worldwide, I would say. 400 million. And even more than 400 million is not diagnosed. So almost 1 billion people is affected by diabetes. Almost the same number of people is affected by coronary disease. These two diseases have a lot in common. I guess most of you know what is the common denominator for both of this. It is diet and the change of the lifestyle that happened in the last 100 years. We have changed the diet a lot. Food became available, easily available, and much cheaper than it used to be. And our lifestyle has changed. Most of us live in urban environment, and people are under big stress, overworked very often, or have other types of stress. And as a consequence, people eat a lot more than they used to. They consume a lot more energy or calories than they used to, and they don't spend this energy. As a result, the energy that we consume is accumulated in our body in the form of fat. As you probably know, 100 or 150 years ago, only about 90% of population in the Western world was involved in agriculture. They worked physically in the field, in the forest, and they used a lot more energy than they use now. Now is the other way around. Only 5 to 10% of population works hard. The rest of population is working less hard, using mostly white-collar jobs, services, and things like that. So it's a huge change in the lifestyle, and at the same time, huge change in the diet. So the coronary disease and diabetes are consequences of this. Food is cheap, available easily, and we now have 5 to 6 meals a day instead of 1 or 2 as it used to be 100 to 150 years ago. And this is only part of the story. The other part is that the food we are consuming these days is heavily processed. Heavily processed, and it contains a lot of sugar. We are now consuming over 60% of energy from sugar, from cheap carbohydrates. And we are in a way becoming, our generation is addicted to sugar, because sugar acts in neural pathways in the same way as any other drug. It is activating serotonin and dopamine. These are hormones that are released when we consume something that is good, nice for us, pleasurable. So these are hormones of happiness, and the same as taking LSD or heroin or any other hard drug, sugar is doing the same to our body. We became addicted from the very early age, and people consume more and more sugar. And this is what gurus in marketing industry and food industry know very well. They put sugar in everything that they consume. So all food that is processed contains sugar in this or that form. Most of you know that, are aware of that, and that's why you are now joining Pranic Festival, and you are so there was a call. Can you see me? Everything
no,
okay?
we can't see you anymore. The screen is black.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, here you are.
I'm back.
Yes, you
okay.
are back.
Okay, so I was saying that sugar is the very bad guy in our yard, and that's I believe that most of the participants in the Pranic World Festival are aware of that, and that's why you guys are here, and you know that eating has something to do with our health, which unfortunately most of the population is still not aware of. Yeah, so another culprit in the past 60, 70 years, actually nearly 100 years, are trans fats. Trans fats are newly developed fats, which are cheaper and easier to manufacture, but are not good for our health. Trans fats one can find in margarine and products similar to margarine, cheap oils. And these fats are not healthy, not good for our body. because the way they are manufactured, they are not easily processed by our liver and our body. So trans fats and drugs are both in a way pushed to a population heavily by food industries. And this is what we have to work on. I believe that most of you know many people, many friends who are eating this kind of heavily processed food. I believe that most of you are not in that group, and that we have to sort of make population aware of this fact. This is, I believe, this is our duty, and this is our seva, to serve the humanity in this way. This is what Pranic Festival is purpose of one of the purposes of the Pranic Festival is to make people aware of this fact, to go back to the origin and eat food from your front yard or backyard, from your garden, eat unprocessed food, and eat less sugary food. It is, for example, well known that Aborigines in Australia consume most of the energy from fat. Only a few percent of calories that they consume is coming from sugar. It's from carbs. The same was for our ancestors. Sugar was not dominant. It was fat that was dominant, and they live much better life, more healthier life. They didn't have diabetes type 2 or coronary disease. So what is happening actually when we eat carbs instead of fat? I will say a few words about major energy sources in our body. As I mentioned earlier, for our generation, the major source are carbs, carbohydrates, for general population, not for you guys. I believe that most of you get energy from fats. Carbs are the main source in modern diet. Fats are secondary, and then proteins. These are three major energy sources for conventional eaters. Then there is a fourth source, which is prana, which is not mentioned in any of the books, science books. But pranic people are very much aware of it, and this is something that is still a big mystery for science. And no decent scientist will talk about it and write a paper or research paper about prana. But as most of you know, prana is real, and obviously there, because we know that there are people, not few, but many people who live on prana only. So I'll talk about a few words about these three sources of energy: carbs, fats, and protein. Carbs are easily available and easily used, and the energy consumed through food that has a lot of carbs can easily be converted to energy. Within a few hours, you reach a peak, and this peak of energy will give you feeling like you have a lot of energy, but then the source will be soon exhausted, and then you feel weak and low energy. Then you have to take more energy, like through a coffee with sugar or another meal or hamburger or whatever that has a lot of calories, or Coca-Cola drink or anything that will fill up your energy sources. Sugar is releasing insulin. Insulin is a hormone that will dissolve in a way carbohydrates and convert it into energy in your mitochondria in cells. And insulin is a measure of available sugar in your blood. As long as you have carbs in your body, insulin will be automatically released and will be converting energy into sugar into energy. If you don't need that energy, the insulin will be used to convert this extra sugar, carbs, into fat. And little by little, if you have everyday excess of sugar, the amount of fat in your body will grow. What will happen if this process is going on and on for years? It will happen that insulin will not, your cells will not be sensitive enough to insulin, and they will shut off. You will have excess of insulin, which will have difficulties to penetrate into the cell because there are no receptors. Receptors on your cell will close down. You became insensitive on insulin. And this is the beginning of the diabetes type 2. So once when your cells do not react on insulin and they don't bring carbs into your cells, into mitochondria to be converted to energy, you are getting more and more sugar level in your blood and you get diabetes type 2. So this is like with every other drug. It's if somebody is taking heroin or LSD or any other drug or even alcohol, he or she will need to take bigger and bigger doses because the body is becoming insensitive to those drugs. The same happens with sugar. Unfortunately, everybody is talking, like these days, we are talking about COVID, which kills a few million people so far worldwide. We talk about alcohol as a big enemy. We talk about cigarettes, and everybody's talking about drugs, that these are big problems. But actually, the biggest, far biggest, 10 times or even more than 10 times bigger killer is sugar. And because of marketing, in a way, and the food industry, this fact is hidden. Not really hidden, but not in mass media. No one is talking about it. If I may, I will tell you a joke on which I heard recently. We have a few minutes for that, a minute. So the joke goes like this. Coronavirus and the cancer cell are sitting in a park on a bench and talking about the future of humanity. And the cancer cell asked coronavirus, how come you killed only a few million people worldwide and everybody is talking about you? And me, I'm killing hundreds of millions a year and I'm in a shadow. I didn't cause the world economy to stop. I didn't cause, it's like everybody is just quietly walking by me. And coronavirus said, well, my dear, it's your problem. You have a bad marketing. You have a lousy marketing. So it's all about marketing, really. It's unfortunately, it's not a joke in a way. It's real reality that is we are immersed in. Yeah. But we are not talking about Corona marketing. But it is true that these diseases are very real and serious. And we have to work to circumvent that problem and to teach people how to avoid getting into this trap. So why is feeding on fat better than feeding on carbs? There is one important reason, which I will talk about now. And this is the fact that once when you get into regime of eating fat, the keto bodies are released. Ketones are similar to insulin, are bodies that will help dissolve fat into energy. The fat cells will get into your mitochondria and convert it to ATP, adenosine 3-phosphate, a molecule that will release energy in your muscles. And these ketones are, in a way, much healthier than insulin. And the reason is that fat has much more energy than sugar. It's 2 to 3 times more energy than sugar. And once when you are fed by fats, either fats can be provided either from animal or plant food, oils. Ketones will take care of your energy level. And the energy level that will be provided by ketones will be a lot more stable. You won't have highs and lows like with insulin. The keto energy is stable and can last longer. With 200 to 300 grams of fat, you get about 2,000 to 3,000 calories per day. Unlike with sugar, you have to eat kilograms of sugar to get the same amount of energy. And then you get highs and lows. And insulin resistance at the end and things like that, and diabetes. Keto has advantage of releasing energy very slow. And not only that, there are many other hormonal changes actually happening in your body. How to get into keto? I guess most of you know that to get into keto diet, you have to use up all your sugar, all your insulin in the body. Because ketones will not be released in your body if there is sugar. So those of you who are trying to become keto will never really achieve keto if you eat a lot of fruits, for example. Most fruits have a lot of carbs. As long as you are eating fruits, or of course, it's okay to eat a little bit, maybe 5 to 10% of your calorie intake from fruits. But if there is a lot of fruits, you will never reach keto, because ketones will be released, I repeat, only when insulin is totally consumed. But carbs are fully consumed from your blood. So, because sugar is being consumed fast, it will take usually 24 to 40 hours to get rid of all sugar in your blood. If you are used to eat a lot of sugar, some of sugar will be accumulated in the form of glycogen in your liver. But even this glycogen from liver can be fully absorbed into the blood and fully exhausted within 48 to so about 2 to 3 days after consumption of carbohydrates. Your body will be free, your blood will be free of carbs and insulin, and ketones will take over. So all your energy will come now from fat and ketones. The advantage of being in keto is that so the process of autophagy will be activated. Autophagy is a process that has been studied for the past 10 years very, very intensely. And that's why you can find many instructions how to get into keto and what is the advantage of keto. Because the scientists who worked a lot on autophagy, Yoshinori Oshumi, got a Nobel Prize in 2016, so 5 years ago. He got a Nobel Prize for his work on autophagy. Autophagy is a process of recycling your cells. And recycling in such a way that cells are, as you probably know, every minute in our body, about 100 million cells die. This is including all cells, including your skin, your bones, your red blood cells, your liver. So it's about 100 million cells every minute dies. And if you are not in keto, some of these dead cells will be taken by your bloodstream into your kidney or into your digestion system and will be washed off. If you are in keto, most of the elements of these cells will be converted into healthy cells. And not only that, keto regime and autophagy will attack all the sick parts in your, like if you have arteriosclerosis problem if you have cardiovascular disease and plaque on your blood vessel, then the autophagy will take care of it and will dissolve plaque on your blood vessel. Will get rid of inflammation in your joints. The longer you are in keto, the better you will feel. Keto will also cause people to feel good. Why? Because after 2 or 3 days being under keto, very high concentration of adrenaline will be released in your body. And as you know, adrenaline is a hormone that will give you the feel of feeling good, feeling well, having a lot of energy. Adrenaline is usually released in this process, fight or flight. But in this process, it's released in keto regime, is released slow and will give you this feel of having a lot of energy. This is what most of you experience where you are fasting. You know that on the 2nd, 3rd day, you start feeling better. You feel light, you feel easy. This is because of high concentration of adrenaline. Another advantage is that a few days later, the growth hormone is being released. Growth hormone helps rejuvenating dead cells and rejuvenating tissue that is being that it needs healing. So like I mentioned earlier, if you have arthritis or if you have any other inflammation in your body, the the growth hormone will release more cells that will heal that part of your body. So the healing will start, will be initiated throughout this process. So autophagy is, for that reason, there are more and more research paper being published talking about the advantages of autophagy. It is not, the process is still not reaching mass media because I believe that pharmaceutical industries are not really interested in that, because healing people by making them fast doesn't really make money. Not much money one can get by feeding people on water or very low calorie intake. And but when you look carefully at research papers, one can see that there are so many advantages of being in keto regime that it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how many diseases can be cured. And if one look carefully on YouTube, you can find many channels that talk about keto diet. I would turn your attention to, for example, a YouTube channel of a medical doctor from Canada, Jason Fung. Jason Fung. He has a clinic, which is well-established clinic in Toronto. And he's talking about this keto regime and why is fasting indeed very, very, very good for our health. I'm not, we don't have time for going into details, but I will tell you, for you who are often in keto regime, that it's equally good to be on keto in several ways. One possible way of healing your body is to be on water, let's say 1 or 2 weeks per year, or maybe 3 weeks per year. This will give your body enough time to detox and to rejuvenate. Another possibility, which is not so harsh, because many people think that it's impossible or nearly impossible to be on water 3 or 4 weeks a year, is so-called intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting became very popular now in the West and is based on eating pattern, modifying your eating pattern. So the idea is to consume most of the food from, most of the energy from fat, only 5 to 10% from carbs, so very little fruits, and most intake should be oils or fats, depending if you are vegetarian or omnivore. You can choose the source of your fats, but it is important to eat in a relatively short window of time. Let's say between, let's say from morning, you have your breakfast, and then you have your lunch around noon, and then you don't eat the following 20 hours. So it's called, this is so-called 4-20, or it can be 8 hours eating period, and then 16 hours not eating. The best would be in that, the best would be for you to consume food basically within few hours. Your breakfast and your lunch in the morning or in the evening, depending on your preferences, and then fast for 20 or 22 hours. And use this as your regime of eating at least for a month or 2. This will be enough for your body to detox and to get into keto, to be in keto long enough to get rid of most of your problems, health problems, if you have any problem. And it is not so harsh, it's not so drastic as being on water for 2 or 3 weeks per year. Yeah. So for the end, I would suggest that you have a look. There are many books available now on the topics of autophagy or fasting. And those who are really interested in biology, they will find out that there is really very well researched subject, which tell us that autophagy and keto is really very good for your health. And keep your carbs low and fat high. This is my suggestion for today. Okay,
Thank
question
you.
and answers.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ivan. And in the end of the day, the key is always to go back to the origin, organic, simple, small,
Yes,
move the body,
that's right.
be in nature.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I have already a few questions for you. There is one lady from the audience that says that she only consumes water with sugar, either syrup or a cane sugar.
Cane sugar.
And that's her diet. She cannot put anything else in her body, otherwise she will feel sick.
Wow.
And she's actually gaining weight with this diet. Is there anything that comes in your mind through this information?
I'm really, I never came to someone who consumes sugar only, but obviously there is something in her body. I mean, she obviously tried to eat other things, and her body doesn't take, can't digest. There must be some physical problem. It's difficult to give any suggestion. I mean, the reason that she is gaining weight is obvious. She's, like I said earlier, she's accumulating the excess of energy that she's not using is accumulated as a fat. So she has to reduce the amount of sugar, the carbs that she's consuming. That's the only way. Or exercise more. You know, it's like what comes in must go out. Otherwise, it will get accumulated in the form of fat. So she has to reduce. And of course, I don't know much about this person, but I would suggest, like anybody else, that she tries to eat a little bit of veggie and get some calories from oils. Maybe she can experiment with some other oils, olive oil or butter or any other source of fat. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, she's obviously totally depending on insulin. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. And of course, we all have unique bodies and life journeys, and we have also to consider and honor that. The other question is about your understanding and explanation of pranic nourishment from a scientific perspective. How can you explain pranic nourishment?
Yeah.
If you can explain it.
Yeah, I would love to be able to explain, but this is still beyond our reach. Yeah, I can only give some hypothesis. Yeah, as I said, prana is probably the fourth source of energy, and as I explained in some of my earlier talks, pranic living is totally against conventional science. And it's against conventional science because it's against the two pillars of conventional science. And this is the law of conservation of mass and the law of conservation of energy. So pranic living doesn't fit into the conventional science at all. what we are now um, thinking about, and there are some models that allow pranic living, which means pranic living means that the body who is in pranic state has to produce not only energy but also matter all the time from vacuum. According to conventional science, vacuum has no energy. Vacuum is empty, it's hollow. But more and more scientists are now finding that vacuum is not empty and that vacuum has a lot of energy actually. And if this is so, it is possible, according to modern quantum physics, it is possible to create not only energy, but matter from so-called vacuum or so-called 0-point energy. If this is true, then the people who are in pranic state are able to come into a level of consciousness that will tap the energy from 0-point, from vacuum. Not only energy, but also matter. They create matter that is necessary to sustain their body all the time. And this is where my research was also focused, but I didn't succeed so far to find out if the pranic people are really gaining weight while sitting on my scale. As those who are familiar with my work, they know that I've been in Kokore many times and measuring, weighing people who are in pranic state for a longer period. And I was trying to catch this moment when they consciously absorb energy and matter from vacuum or from prana. I was able to see only in few occasions increase in weight while the person was meditating. Unfortunately, I tried again and again to repeat the experiment, but was not able to see this jump in the mass during this 10 or 15 minutes, except for one person. So I can't say that this is a proof, but the proof of this are living pranic people who obviously through many years of living only on water are alive and kicking, and they are healthy and they're doing well. So that means, like I said earlier, these 100 million cells that are being that die in our bodies, in their bodies as well, they are being reconstructed through autophagy, but also there must be a source of matter in their bodies. And this is probably happening in mitochondria. Mitochondria are being studied for many years, and they are the mystery powerhouses of our body. Mitochondria is obviously hiding a lot of secrets, and probably within mitochondria, the process of converting energy from 0-point into our dimension, into their bodies, is happening. We don't know yet how, but most likely within 5 or 10 years, we'll be there closer and closer to reading this secret. Once when scientists accept the fact that pranic living is possible, there will be more and more laboratories, more and more scientists studying the effect. And once when we get thousands of people studying the effect, somebody will find the secret. Somebody will reveal the big secret of pranic life, and prana will become the fourth source of energy. Yeah. So Nassim Haramein, he probably had a talk already, or he will have, and I believe he will talk about this, because he's also interested in mitochondria and ATP, and his team is working on this subject, and many others as well. Yeah, more and more people are working on this subject.
Thank you so much. I'm here reading the questions, and there are many questions about fruitarianism, raw food diet, liquidarianism, and all the differences between the keto diet that you just shared with us. You wanna add something to your reason why you recommend the keto diet, so that we can kind of give an answer to all these questions?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to say that keto, I have to emphasize once again, you will never get keto if you have a lot of sugar in your body. So if you're eating fruits, you will never get keto. So fruitarians should, I would suggest, slowly get into keto to get advantages of autophagy. Otherwise, there'll be no autophagy. Keto is the only way to activate autophagy. Because what Yoshinori Oshumi discovered, to get into keto, the body has to be under the stress. And the stress is keto in this way. Yeah. And once when you're in keto, like I said earlier, the growth hormone is released, and your rejuvenation process will start by activating keto. So I'm not saying that fruitarians are wrong. It is, I guess, like you mentioned, it is a path, and it's something that some of us are at that stage, and they need that stage for some reason. But I would suggest that they slowly, if they really want to get advantage of autophagy, they slowly convert to eating more and more vegetables and less fruits. So, including vegetable oils, of course, so that they replace carbs with fats.
Okay, and this is the last question about diet. Okay. And then we move to some other topic, even if we don't have so much time. And which is, the question is, what is the important? What is it? What do you have to say about amino acids and their importance on a diet, especially for fruitarians?
Amino acids. Yeah. Amino acids. Well, I guess amino acids are just part of our bodies, and proteins and amino acids need each other. I mean, are one of the same. And what I could just say that once when you achieve keto and activate autophagy, your amino acids will be converted to required proteins in a very efficient way. So you don't even have to consume meat, or like some promoters of meat, they said that there are some amino acids missing in our food if you don't eat meat, which is not true. There are many examples, and so many millions of people who are on vegetarian diet for ages, and they're healthy and living well. But what Yoshinori Oshumi discovered is that if you are in keto, the production of proteins is enhanced, and you are actually converting, your body is converting all the amino acids that you have in your body in the proteins that your body requires. So you don't need to take meat as a source of proteins if you are in keto. So in a way, being in keto is a solution for many problems for many people. Of course, there are specifics, and I can't tell that this is a formula that fits all. So I guess all of us have to experiment and play, but science is getting more and more facts that are confirming this, what I said, that being in keto is very healthy indeed. And you can achieve that by either using intermittent fasting or go hardline and go on water for 2-3 weeks and clean your body of all the carbs and insulin and all the toxins that you have accumulated in this hard line way. But intermittent fasting, eating 1 or 2 meals per day in this feeding window, let's say 4-20. So you feed yourself for 4 hours, within 4 hours, and then 20 hours on diet with very low carbs intake will bring you into keto, and within few weeks you will feel much better. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ivan. And let's move to the next question. It's about vaccination. A lot of my loved ones are vaccinated. Do you have any idea on how to reduce the damage? A lot of things for your work. The damage of vaccine.
The damage.
Yeah.
The damage of the
vaccine. The damage on the physical body once you get vaccine.
The best is not to get vaccinated. I believe that most of you are not vaccinated, and but on the other hand, as you all know, it's experimental vaccine, and maybe it's not bad. I'm not vaccinated. I'm not planning to get vaccinated, but because it's experiment, and I simply don't want to take part in the experiment. And it's we all have free will, and each of us have to make the decision according to his education and according to his information. So once when somebody decided to take vaccine for this or that reason, he will have to bear with the consequences, and which we don't know. Will there be consequences or not? Maybe there will be no problems. You know, it's like, I don't want to panic. It's too early to panic. You know, so I think if somebody is vaccinated, just they have to live with it and hope for the best. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's never a good time to panic at all. Yes.
That's right. It's important not to live in fear. You know, I believe in my immune system. You know, when you achieve autophagy, your immunity system will skyrocket. You will be so immune to everything. So instead of vaccinating, go on keto and activate your autophagy, and this will protect you from all disease. And be active. It's important to be active and not to watch TV, read news, or waste your time with mass media. You know, we all know that they're all corrupt, and they're all being, financed by big corporations, and they are saying what they have to say. You know, it's a propaganda. Like I said, that joke about coronavirus and cancer cell. You know, that Corona has a good marketing. Yeah.
Thank you, Ivan.
Keep away from mass media.
Yeah, that's the main key.
Yes.
Don't feed fears and keep away from mass media. Thank you so much for your sharing.
Yeah, come to Kokore and enjoy the nature.
Come to the festival. And Ivan, we really look forward to see you to the next festival.
Thank you.
Maybe at your center, if it will be ready before.
Yes, yeah. I'll send you a link, and we certainly keep in touch. And we are very close, so we can collaborate and work together to educate people. Yeah.
Yeah, with pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you again. Have a beautiful day. And we will see each other later in the afternoon for the next conference. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you, Nadia. Thank you, everyone. Bye. Bye. Thank you, Nicholas.